Welcome back to Dwarf Fortress Outcasts, where we are being mildly annoyed by our dwarves hauling all day rather than digging, and a dog fighting way too much with the camel. That should probably have died by now. Only have our second still up and running. That's good, I guess. And I suppose it's fine to have everything sorted out. Hopefully we can get migrants soon. That would really speed things up a bit. Seed, drink, maybe 20. Plant, maybe 20. Seeds, maybe 20. We hopefully have a healthy farm, or else you'll be mildly screwed. Yes. I need to do a designate a P. That way, gather a bunch of plants in the general area. I don't know if they'll be helpful or not, but can't hurt that much. That should help with our food and beer, which is kind of important for being dwarves. What's that? No, that's kids. I thought that was a mug, that was rope. Come on, diggers, miners, mine out the growing room. These pools kind of for me. I wonder if that will happen outside of our house. Will we have a random pool of water for him outside? If we're able to build a ceiling, it might be worth no, it's not raining in the desert, so we can't make a hole. Put some water in here to make some dirt. Oh well, so much for that idea. Miners, would you stop hauling? Where'd you go even? Did you go down to the farm one? No, that's one too far then. Are you digging out this? Apparently not.
Summer is here.
Well, it's summer. And that dog is still freaking fighting. Like, as far as that dog was given up months ago. Oh well. Dog can be a silly dog, I guess. Surprisingly wet summer, I guess. At least our future farming area will be nice. I have to wait for it to save, and hopefully this time notice when it's done. I can look up how other people have. How to pipe water into to your fortress. Your fortress. I mean, suppose this can help. Well guide? That could be it. The current version. This guide will assume you've read the main article on wells and are familiar with the basic information found in the article of what a well does and what is required to build one. Okay, what's required to build one? Building a well. Wells must have a clear vertical pathway straight down to the water source. That can be an artificial channel, an aquifer, a river, a lake, or an artificial reservoir, as long as it has water in it. That's at least 3 to 7 deep. Oh, brooks can be used if you must, but you must first channel off the surface of the brook to allow the bucket to dip into the water. The water can be used any distance directly below. Well, but will take a while for the bucket to go down and back up on long distances. Yeah. To build a well, you need 1 block, 1 bucket, 1 chain, 1 rope, and 1 mechanism. An open space or downward slope tile, usually channeled by you, to place a well on. Okay. Well guide. Why build a well? Honestly, not every fortress needs a well, but they all need some form of safe water source to bring water to patients and prisoners. If they do not have this and you find yourself in a siege with 6 injured dwarves, you're in for a little bit of fun, aka losing. But a hole of water can be just as good as that for the well. Why might not? Wells are yet another opportunity to flood your fort. Not like trenches aren't, though. Placing water is generally dangerous if you don't know what you are doing. For the purposes of unrelated drinking and bathing, a well is just a hole in the floor. Fighting dwarves and animals can easily dodge into it as they would into any other hole. It can take a bit of time and effort to construct, especially compared with alternatives. Technically, tiles adjacent to a trench of water can be designated as a water source just as easily as a well, and dwarves will sanely path around such a trench, as well as bathe in it more easily. If you do make a shallow pool, a mixture of 3x7 or 3 out of 7, 4 out of 7 water as a water source, and having a meeting hall designated therein, occupied dwarves will hang out in the water, gaining swimming skill. I'm pretty sure that would be a reason you might. Technically, that's similar. While a trench is full of water, can be used as a water source. A well can draw water from a source that is 30 plus levels below. Also, a trench water source can only be 1 level deep. Dwarves will not draw from water any level deeper than that. A well will. Wells can be made to have extraordinarily high values due to the various skills and materials, each with their own quality levels which go into its construction. Thus, as a centerpiece for a meeting room, even if they have no water, wells can be very handy in making dwarves happy. As far as the well itself goes, it takes up very little space in your actual fortress, with a water-filled channel reservoir equivalent to the floor space occupied. Drinking from a well is much faster than drinking from a trench, also less annoying to dwarves. You can build a well over a trench, combining parts of both of them. Okay, so choosing your location. Let's use a circle and you consider where the well needs to be. It helps if you've been planning for this while building the rest of your fortress and have made room for it. You want a well central to your dwarves so they'll get good thoughts from seeing it. Near any hospital beds you have, but you want it to be off the main traffic routes. You can have more than one well that solves that problem. Depending on your start location, you may have a pre-existing water source, such as a flooded cavern, which can just build a well over. So yeah, reservoirs. If you need to move water around Dig a reservoir. It's basically a big hole intended for large quantities of water. For digging a reservoir, you need to consider your needs and the space you have available. You really need a 20 by 20 by 20 reservoir holding 56,000 tons of water. Frequently in well-managed fortresses, wells are really only for the care of sick or imprisoned dwarves and animals. As a result, it doesn't really need to be anything special unless it's a meeting hall. Another consideration is safety. Specifically, dwarves fighting near wells can fall. Filling the well. Bucket filling, not doing that. Piping water. The water is, you may otherwise create an aqueduct where you want it. Aqueduct. Aqueduct is any set of elements that carries water, magma, channels, and screw pumps, natural or constructed. This might be something to do off camera, but then again, it might be something for you, because I'm doing this for the first time. Construction. So what is it? Screw pump is a small building that can lift liquids or water or magma from one level below onto the same sea level as the pump. Okay, so that would be a safe way if I want to have a water feature inside my fortress, like a river. Okay. It is 2 tiles by 1 tile, and it can be either manually operated by a dwarf with the pump operator drop, or being powered by water wheels and or windmills. Water wheel is a machine component that provides power via water flow. To build a water wheel, select B, M, and it requires 3 wood and generates 90 power, which can be used for operating one or more pumps or mills. You can use axles and gears to distribute the power produced by a water wheel, or connect the machinery directly. So it would basically be a windmill that I'd use. A windmill is a machine component that provides power by a wind on the surface of the fortress map. In order for a windmill to generate power, its center tile must have the outside attribute. The power produced by a windmill depends on its latitude at which your fortress is located within the world. The power generated by a windmill transmitted downward through the center tile must shine out the central, yada yada yada. So basically, I'd either need a dwarf cranking this thing, or I'd probably just go for water wheel. Screw pump. As normal for pumped fluids, I'll have a pressure equal to the exit Z level. A pump never forces water to a higher Z level than the output tile. Salt water pumped through a pump will dissonate and become drinkable, but only if the cistern has never contained salty water. Stagnant water pumped through a pump will become clean, letting dwarves drink it without being unhappy. The unhappy thought in letting doctors clean wounds without causing an infection. As of distillation, this only works if the cistern has never contained stagnant water. Yeah, so that's what a pump is. Aqueduct, so what is this? It's basically underneath that. So you could use lever down floodgates, which I'm considering using. So what will a floodgate actually do? Floodgates are used to control certain danger posed by others. Floodgates have a wide range of applications or its own, so they're used for control irrigation for farming, controlled flooding for drowning enemy annoying visitors. Floodgates also block the flow of liquid on the axis. Considered a wall when closed, it can be quite useful, but built directly below floor grates, as this will allow you to quickly empty the liquid from the floor above without the danger of its precious content rummaging through your sewer system. Pressure plane lower water supply and the water automated safety valve to help prevent massive flooding. Activates when 0 to 1 water, which allows the water supply. When flooding starts, pressure plate activates attempting to close floodgate. We are linking multiple controllers to this floodgate, as another controller may by opening the floodgate before the pressure resets. Placement, floodgates are constructed what's this? The domain of the Dwarf Fortress, orthogonal or orthogonally, is a fancy word used to mean not diagonally. Gee, thanks. We have 15, probably more minutes most of the research. Anyway. Yeah. See how you okay, floodgates lever, pressurized, since in-game sometimes behaves counterintuitive, it's generally to familiar yourself with the mechanics. Yeah, piping water, dig a reservoir where you want to store the water, run the reservoir, dig a tunnel to your water source, but leave a space first to prevent water from flooding and killing your dwarf. 3. Build a door or floodgate in aqueduct at either end of the tunnel or at an entrance to the reservoir, or both if you're fancy. Doors are better because the dwarf can walk through it if he builds it from the wrong side. Okay, that's good to know, but in our case it'll be minor, so let's probably have him mine out, and that might actually be nice. Fine. Actually, I'd probably just want to connect the mechanism first, but whatever. No, I'll just let them go to some other dog. They won't seem to be the ones building it. Keep in mind when the command to the may be pulled to end filling it. May take some time for an available dwarf to actually do it, even when there's some lag time in the level action. Finally, if your plug is at some point in the aqueduct but not the entrance of the reservoir, any water from in the aqueduct above the water level in the reservoir will continue to pour in. Mind that lever to take some time for the visibility of the dwarf to yeah. Reasonable dumping locations like a cavern. Make sure you can control it with levers, however, or it will continuously drain instead of filling your well. Wait. If you want to empty aqueduct, use a similar method to build a drain. Okay. Safety, flooding. Okay, monsters is the main thing. If you don't need to worry about too much about monsters crawling out of your well to call down your hairy fiends these days, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. It all depends on what beast may be looking around and how you build your well. First off, if your bucket filling well, you may need to make sure that the initial water source is safe. Make sure it isn't full of crocodiles or crap or other dangerous fishy things like carp. If you're draining water through an aqueduct, know there may be dangerous animals or even just unwanted regular animals living in it. And there is a way to stop them from watering. You can place wall grates or upright bars. Okay, good. Aqueduct act as filters. Note that submerged fortifications do not block creature movement. These allow for water to pass, but not animals. Oh wait. No, submerged do not block creatures. Do not block creatures. Okay. However, they may push animals through grates and vertical bars, and both are vulnerable to level 2 building destroyers. With ultimate aqueduct protection, install floor grate or floor bars such that the water flows upwards through the grate into a reservoir using pressure. If you plan to use filters in conjunction with floodgates around, you can connect your floodgate to its trigger before placing the filters. Even if monsters do get in your well, they're rarely a genuine threat, and at worst can give your dwarves an unhappy thought by scaring them. If your reservoir is filled right to the brim, carp and other fish can attack your dwarves, just as they would from a river. Also, any amphibious creatures may be able to use an escape passage to make their way into your fortress and make a mess. Keep in mind, zombified fish are amphibious. Of course, anyone who falls into a well full of predators is pretty much doomed. Prevent amphibians from getting out of your well, should they somehow get there. put a lockable hatch over the escape route. Finally, if you are drawing directly from a cavern lake and have simply opened a hole in the ceiling for the well, any flying creatures in the cavern may be able to use the well as an access point to your fortress. You could potentially construct a wall surrounding the pathway of the bucket and prevent flying creatures from entering unless they are also capable of swimming. Don't forget the perils of dwarves falling in the well, however. Falling into a cavern lake full of cave crocodiles will cause lots of fun. Again, death. Above ground, outdoor wells, there are plenty of reasons, nah. On the level, about ground level, nah. In the sky, silent function, fighting the ice. If you have a frozen well and you want to know how to keep it liquid, yeah? You're going to need to build a heated reservoir. First have magma on your map. If you don't dig deeper, be prepared for fun. Next, you're going to need some magma-safe materials. You'll need to build floodgates and pumps. Now you have to pump magma. Safe pumping equipment. Be sure to use mechanical power for these, as dwarves are too likely to kill themselves. Oh boy. Magma needs to be piped under your reservoir. Let's just say, just a 4-tile bling. Yeah. Ultimate party machine. It's possible to pour water through the mouth of a well from above. This frequently causes water to spray out in a mist which pleases doors. If you power it, you could have a pump stack, draw water from beneath the well and pour it back in from above, turning your fancy meeting hall into a fancier meeting hall. Throw in some platinum stacks you sink while you're at it. Well stacking. We already need to, fret no more because of a well can function through the opening of another well. It's possible to stack wells. Multitasking wells, yeah. Dwarven toilet. I built this in an experiment at the top of the reservoir as a platform with a pressure plate on it. When the pressure plate senses 5 out of 7 water, it triggers closing the fill pipe and opening the drain. So when you pull the lever to fill the thing, it fills up to top and drains just like a giant toilet. Okay then. I'm sure that will be very useful. Now the video is kind of 2 minutes over. Oh. Yeah. See, that's why it kind of has that gap at the start and top and bottom. I know use arrow keys can control that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out this channel. Make sure to wait for friends, you know. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.